Welcome to this week's 5 Minutes of Revelation. And today in those 5 minutes, I want to encourage you to never again put your faith in people. Now by that I don't mean that you shouldn't trust people. Yes, you should be trusting people. But by that I mean that you should never be looking to people to supply you with the things you need. That you shouldn't have your faith in people. See, because people, they will always disappoint you eventually. You can't trust 100%. You can't put your faith 100% in people, because people are never out only for your good. People are always out for their own good also, and that's an okay thing. But this is one of the reasons why you shouldn't put your faith in people. Why you should have your faith in God. In everything you do, you should have your faith in God. And again, this doesn't mean that God won't use people to bless you. That doesn't mean that God won't use people to bring good things to you, to give you this new job, or to restore health to you, or to do any good thing. That doesn't mean God won't use people, but that it means that you shouldn't have your faith in those people that God will use. It means that you should have your faith in God, because then God can move the people to bless you and to give you those things that you've been praying for, that you've been believing for, and that will just simply bless you. See, and God showed me this. God showed me that you shouldn't rely on people, but that you should have faith in God always. In Acts 14:8-20. I'm not going to read the verses to you now, but I'm going to tell you the story, and you can go back and check it out yourself. And it talks about Paul and Barnabas, and they're in a town called Lystra. And see, their faith in God healed a man there already, and they were able to minister to a man, and this man believed God, and then he got healed from his sickness. And then the whole town goes crazy, and they think that Paul and Barnabas are gods. They think they're gods because of the great miracles that God works through them. And then the next thing they do is they want to bring sacrifices to them because they think they're gods. But then when Paul and Barnabas find this out, they manage to convince the crowd that they're not gods, that there's only one God, and that He's been working through them, and that each one of them can do and see the same miracles in their lives if they would simply believe God. So they can convince the people that they're not gods. But then the next thing that happens is that Jews come in this town, and the Jews were against what they preached because it went against their doctrines, it went against their teachings. And then those Jews convinced those people there that Paul and Barnabas are bad for them. And the next thing that happens is that they drag Paul out of the town and they stone him there. So the whole story goes from they love Paul and Barnabas, they think they're gods, and they want to give their whole life for them pretty much, to the next day the Jews coming in and they being convinced that they're bad for them, and just them killing what they thought were gods. Maybe it was the same day, maybe it was a few days before, This is how quick people change. And see, if Paul had his faith in those people, then he wouldn't have made it very far. See, but because Paul had his faith in God, it didn't stop there. The Paul story didn't stop there, because after they dragged him out of town, after they killed him there, it says that the church, the people that were believing, came, stood around Paul, and all of a sudden Paul got up again. Paul was healed again. Paul wasn't dead anymore. He got up again, and then he just walked back into the same town, and the next day they left this town. But see, because Paul didn't have faith in those people, he wasn't able to be hurt by them. Because Paul had his faith in God even after they killed him, even after they went completely against him. He could still get up again, and he could still do what God called him to do and step into the blessings that God had for his life. But he could only do this because he had his faith in God. See, and it's the same in your life. Maybe today the people are 100% for you, and they're completely supporting you, and they're saying, go for it. I want to put all my money into you. I want to support you with everything I have. I want to make everything I have available to you so you can do what you want to do. And that's great, that's a good thing, that's a great blessing, but never have your faith in those people. Don't have your faith in those people, and don't think, if they're not here, I won't be able to do what I want to do. If they're not here, and if all of a sudden they don't support me anymore, I won't be able to do what God put on my heart. Don't be thinking like that, because that means that you have your faith in those people. But you should have your faith in God. And then God will use those people. And even if the people say, well, you know, from one day being 100% for you, the next day you said something wrong and now they're 100% against you, you still have your faith in God, and God will find other people, will find other ways to bring whatever you need to you so that you can pursue your dreams, that you can do what God's called you to do, and that you can simply step into His blessings. And that's why I want to encourage you to have your faith in God and not in people. Put your faith in God, because He's the only one that's always 100% for you, and He's the only one that's always and consistently out for your best. He's the only one that will be 100% for you today, just as much as He will be 100% for you tomorrow, the day after that, and He will be just as much for you 1 year from now, no matter how much you mess up, no matter what you do, no matter if you say something wrong or not, if you insult someone, He will always be 100% for you and always be out for your best. And this is the reason why you should have your faith in God and not have your faith in people. See, because Paul had this faith in God. He was able to continue his walk. He was raised again from the dead, because he died there, they killed him there, but the church came around him, they released faith, and then he got up again and continued doing what God called him to do. And he could only do this because he had faith in God. Even when people turned against him, it didn't stop him. He just continued walking strong. And out of what looked like a huge failure, because he had faith in God, he turned it into a huge testimony, into a huge miracle where everyone was shouting about, and which he used for the rest of his life to bring people to God. And that's what God can do in your life too, if you simply have faith in Him. Because it's faith in God that will provide you with what you need to get the job done. It's faith in God which will supply you with all your needs and take care of you. It's not other people. He can use other people, but it is faith in God that will consistently provide you with all you need. And it's faith in God that's going to heal you and restore your family and bless you in all other areas of life. So have your faith in God and not in other people. And at the end, I want to read this verse from Luke 1:37 to you. For nothing will be impossible with God. See, with people, things are impossible. But if you have your faith in God, then this applies for you. This applies to your life. Nothing will be impossible to you because now you have faith in God. So take this with you. Be blessed by that. Don't forget to read your chapter a day, and I'll see you again next time.